Hello, OMIS 351 students. I'm going to try and do this in 5 minutes. This is a VC6 helping video. Here I'm at the main page. Here's where you're going to check to see if your thing works eventually. At first we go to the course schedule, come down to find the VC6 assignment link as always. Here it is, virtual case 6. I click on this and we're given 7 steps that we have to do. Read this carefully. Obviously I'm not going to read it now because of the interest of time in the video. So we click on these. I just click on these links. I've done this ahead of time, and I picked open. Depending on your browser or whatever, you'll have to pick save as maybe or something like that. But I save these as Excel files, and I know where they are. If you're not in there, if you're not in this file, then that means I've made a mistake or something, and you got to send me an email. But everybody should be in the customer file. Everybody's a customer, and you have orders and products. So step 2, we're going to import these files into Access. That's pretty easy. So here's Access. I got to make a database. Find my little folder. Where's my folder? I gotta make this a little, oh, there it goes. So I click on my folder. I gotta browse to the database first. I'll make it, put it in OMIS 351. Always with Access files, know where you're going and what your database is called. I'll call this logically VC6. So you create the database at first. I click create. Comes up with a little table at first. My recommendation is to get out of this table here because we're going to import. So we go to external data, Excel, and then we got to find these things. I put these in the same spot where I just saved that file into my G drive, which is my flash drive. Obviously you put it wherever you want. I've got 3 files: customers, products, and orders. So I have other Excel files in there. So I go through my import like always. I have to say the first row contains the column headings, and then the other big one, do not let Access pick your key. You want to pick your own key. Don't just click by here on customer because last name is not a primary key. There may be 2 Smiths. You got to click on cust ID. Otherwise you'll screw that up. So we want to call this first table customers. Click on that. Done. We got 1 table. Then we find the other one. Keeps the browsing spot, which is nice. There's orders. You can click pretty fast, but you want to look. First row contains column headings, and then no Access. I'm not letting you do this. In this case, the primary key is right. It's going to be order ID, and I want to call this table orders. Now I've got 2. Last one is products. Got to find that. Again, I saved that ahead of time. Find it, import it. What did I just do? That's the one. There it is. And you got to kind of be careful. Go too quick, you can mess something up. Product ID is in fact the primary key, and I'll call this table products. So now I've kind of gone through, that was the old first part of VC4. The second part of VC4 is to relate these tables, database tools, relationships. I want to do customers, orders, and products. The orders are going to be in the middle because they have the foreign keys, the customer ID and the product ID. So I drag this to customer ID, let go, make customer ID to customer ID, make sure to enforce referential integrity. Product ID, make sure to enforce referential integrity, which means I will not allow an order for a product that doesn't exist, or I will not allow an order for a customer that doesn't exist. Save those relationships. Now I go back to my VC link. I've done steps 1 through 3. Now it wants 3 queries. Those 3 queries are a list of my purchases, showing your first name, last name, product name, purchase, and amount. First, last, product, and amount. Okay, so let's go do a query. I go to the Create tab to make a query. Come here. I'm just going to add all 3 tables. And what did it want from me? It wanted my first name, my last name, my product purchased, and the amount, what it cost. Now, if I run this here, this is everybody, and you can see I'm first because I have the smallest Z number, so that's just coincidental. But that's just everybody. I can see it, but obviously now I could either do my customer ID, or if I have my criteria, for me, Chuck, if I do first and last name, that's safe. That's not guaranteed to be unique. So it's a little sloppy. We could add customer ID here. You're not required to. So here's Chuck Downing, first name, last name. So I've purchased, it looks like I've made 5 purchases, and there's the amount of each. These purchases get, you can see they get pretty long. There we go. So what am I going to call this? I'm going to call this something meaningful to me. The query, when I X out of it, my purchases. Okay, there's that. I only have 10 seconds left, so I was wrong. I'm not going to be able to do this in one 5-minute video. Of course, I'm always wrong. Sorry about that. So that's the beginning, and we'll come back in a second.